What is going on, everybody? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be doing a $2,918 unboxing of a bunch of coins that me and Anthony bought from the German dealer Fruwald. We're going to open this thing up. We'll start with the regular, like the single coins, and then we'll move towards the the larger coin groups. We did buy some lots from them as well, and I'm really just excited to dig in. There's going to be, as you'll see, a good mix of individual, and it looks like there's some lots in here too, so I don't think that classification necessarily is going to hold up, but there's a ton of individual interesting silver coins. I think no gold, and then a couple of bronzes, but we've really got some sweet buys here. So German-based company that we're going with, and I'll try to give some history as we go along or edit it back in to an extent, probably not on all of them, but we'll start. We have these interesting coins, and we paid more than what the price is. I wish I could buy this for €5. These are Kremnica Mint KB Slovakian, but they're for Hungary dinars, and they have the year 1565 in that example. Let's see, on this one, it is going to be 1566. Very clearly on the items. And so we got a good mix of them. I've really been wanting to test these out, see sort of how they would do. And often what I'll try to do is buy a good mix. Like this one's 1547. I think that's, some of them you can see above the crest there. It's in the, just in the field. But buy like 20 of something, see how they do, and if it does well, can obviously buy a bunch more. So that one is going to be a Ferdinand Three-Kreuzer, so a little bit larger, kind of medieval German, which is interesting, because I think that they're a little bit separated from some of the other Renaissance activities. This one is going to be a Pfennig 1539 from Klagenfurt, and then this one, similar, like in the Habsburgs, you can see the date up there, so maybe comparable to the Hungarian dinar, but still a little bit different. And I'm curious kind of what the role that we played, not we, but I say we because I'm a German citizen as well as U.S. What was the Holy Roman Empire doing, and then what was these city-states doing? So this is a 10 Kreuzer, super interesting. Love that kind of larger flan. 1618 it looks like, and you see the ruler. Who's that going to be? Austria? Is it a Ferdinand? No, it's a Leopoldus. And wow, that is a fantastically toned coin from 1592. Beautiful Three-Kreuzer, or 1605. His reign is 1592, but you can see that 1605 on the side. That's pretty special. And then maybe it looks like we have a couple more of the classic, Hungarian dinars, which at one point I bought like 100 of them in lower condition, and they did pretty well. It had been a while, and so I paid up a little bit more for some in better shape that I'm going to target to sell in kind of that low teens range as a start price if I put it in an auction of mine. And then right here, it looks like we did get another one of the cool Ferdinand, and that one's in pretty fantastic shape. Very, very nice. I like how that looks. So it looks like that's a lot of the sort of single coins that were purchased just, on their own, because we did buy a couple of sort of lots as well as some ancient stuff, and that's going to be over here. And actually, this is a more common type, but a Piso Frugi Roman Republican denarius. And that one has some interesting little toning on it, and I think it's a horse, but I always thought that kind of looks like a leaping panther 90 BC. So L. Calpurnius Piso Frugi, those are the money years. That was like they needed people to overlook the money and the minting, so that was like an intro role to politics in ancient Rome and the ancient Roman Republic before Caesar takes it down. Here we have a good mix of Antoniani. That looks like it's Volusian in the early 250s, but a nice mix of Antoniani. That one maybe was used in jewelry or something like that. Philip the Arab, 244 to 249 AD. That one is I think it's a Trebonianus Gallus Antonianus. Victoria Augustus, interesting. That's like, he's 251 to 243. Concordia on the reverse of a Gordian. The third Antoniani, that one is a Valerian with a little spot on the reverse of green. Let's see what that is. Imp CMO, or Imp MQ. I cannot tell exactly something. Maybe it's Valerianus. I'll have to look into that a little bit further. With a look of genius holding a scepter, Gordian the third. That kind of looks like a Gallienus. Yep, it's going to be a Gallienus. I think that's the Cologne mint with the captives like so. And then a Gordian and maybe a Philip to round us out. Philip the first. There were two Philips, but really it's a calamitous time for the Roman Empire. There's a ton of like basically barracks emperors, like military rulers. There's not clear, who has the power and kind of who's ruling the empire at that stage. And so those coins were Antoniani minted after these had some issues. So there we see a Faustina. These are like the second and early 3rd century denarii, which are not in the best of shape here. That's a nice Julia Mamaea, 222 to 235. But the Antoniani you saw previously were supposed to replace these and be 2 times bigger. They were less than that. It's really just an inflationary grab by the Roman government. And that was both a symptom of and a cause of a lot of challenge in the, in the Roman Empire. Severus Alexander, that's a nicer looking denarius. And then that might be Elagabalus, I'm not sure. And that looks like Julia Domna. So these are like smaller denarii. That would have been the original kind of supposed to be good silver, but often were a little disappointing. Here we have a bunch more Antoniani. I don't want to spend too much time, given that these are some types that we've seen a bit more of. These are possibly a bit higher in quality in terms of 12 different coins is what I purchased here. It looks like we have everything from some Septimius Severus and Julia Mamaea and Severus Alexander denarii. Very cool. There's Mamaea. There's Antoninus. I think that's Elagabalus. There's another Mamaea in pretty good shape. That one looks like it might be Oticilius Severa, who would have been alongside of... Ooh, and there's a Maximinus Thrax. He's like the 6'6 guy who kills Severus Alexander in 235 and plunges them into the Barracks Emperor rule, ending the Severan dynasty that Septimius Severus had started after Commodus, the son of Marcus Aurelius, had kind of plunged things into a challenging situation. Here we have some more. We have 3 more. This is a great lot, actually. It looks like 4 different. There's a Sergi Silas, but just different Republican denarii. That looks like another of the Calpurnius Piso Frugi types. That one I'm not as sure of. It's pretty worn. And there's another of the Piso, but then a larger Roman Republican Roma, again with the 2 heads facing either side, is the kind of Janiform heads of the Roman Republican bronze. This one looks... we did get some sweet other individual coins that I must have forgot about, or just didn't look closely. A great bishop there, 15 Kreuzer, 1692. Fantastic. What does that say? Johann Ernst Graf Thun und Hohenstein. And then right here we have, wow, beautiful, 1690, similar coin. Hopefully we got a couple of those. That one looks 15 Kreuzer, from 1685. I'm a big fan of how those look. Those are awesome. And then some other kind of minors, 1624 looks like, maybe a competitor to the famed 3 Pulkers of the Polish-Lithuanian type. This is a 1/9 taler apparently. That's kind of a unique denomination from 1627. Maybe it was, if it was a base 72, then it would have been like an 8 Kreuzer, which would make a lot of sense. Wow. Okay, 1624 here as well, a 3 Kreuzer. So I think there must have been some similarity to the Polish-Lithuanian. Look at this though. This is totally beautiful, I bet. Is this a restrike? Because this looks... I don't think so. a 1625 half taller in just unbelievable shape. Actually, no, this must be a restrike. That edge is almost certainly a restrike. So we may have paid up a bit too much for it, or maybe we realized that as we bid on it, but that thing is still beautiful. Just wish that this was actually struck in 1625 as opposed to, the coin that we're looking at. But again, some of the old restrikes still will take a, there will be a nice premium, but there's just no chance that edge is going to be modern. Some live capturing of me being disappointed. Okay, these, on a better note, 1724, interesting four kreuzer, and then another similar like crown type right there, 1722, bit of a bend. I wonder if that can be pushed out. I don't think so. Salzburg. And then here we see a Illyrian Greek dram as well as some different fractional coins. Wow, with a really nice horse's head on a lot of them. That must have been why I was attracted to this, as well as like a dragon's mane. We see some roses, which would indicate roads, like a before Christ Greek islands off the coast. So it looks like some interesting fractional coins. Rumor has it people used to carry them around in their teeth, because, like in their mouth, because we didn't have good enough systems to, like pockets were not reliable. So if you had some rare silver coins, pop them in your mouth, make sure that they don't fall out, but don't swallow too quickly. So here we've got also a bunch of, the reason it's only 29, what I did is I, at one point, had sold a bunch of coins to somebody, and they were like, I'll pay, I don't know, it was like $3. So I basically broke even, or took a slight loss. It was a slight loss. By going through, and I have looked briefly through some of these lots here. I actually received these coins over 2 months ago. It's been a while since I've gotten a chance to unbox, but like some nice Aurelius, and there's a Probus, but like good shape, different Roman coins. Licinius right there. I think there's a nice, that's what, Probus? Yeah, a great Antoniani, but this is only like 40, 50 years later, Diocletian, versus some of those Antoniani, and you can see the rapid debasement in the coins. They just get totally crushed. There's a, who is Stasian, I'm not sure, or Vespasian, it could be, but the coins get routed. Carinus is a shorter-lived military ruler, across that, and from a precious metal perspective, probably similar to some of the inflation that we've seen over the last 100 years here. There's another Valerian coin. So that's like one lot here. I may focus I think there's some larger sestertii lots here. Oh, that's actually a nice coin. That is Constantine commemorative, minted kind of either in his death or shortly thereafter. But we have some large, yes, these are like bronzes of the earlier Roman Empire, and these are very pleasing just to look at. There is a Julia Mamaea. Again, she's alongside Severus Alexander, who I mentioned, Maximinus Thrax. Kicks out, I think that's Antoninus Pius, but like these are thick Roman bronzes. That's certainly Antoninus Pius. It's his classic look. I'm not sure who that is. I think it's a 3rd century ruler. There we have a younger Pius, or it's Aurelius. That one looks like Severus Alexander. That one is, I guess Oticilia Severa, a provincial bronze, or maybe Sestertius, I'm not sure. And then that one looks like maybe an Augustus. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would, with a fantastic like orb globe type, and then 2 more Pius. So looks like some interesting Antoninus Pius action, and some other earlier rulers of the time. This one might give me an opportunity to talk about some, it kind of looks like these are the Byzantine Christ coins. There are some massive items in here. Take a look at this. Wow. All right. So the Byzantines, after the fall of the Roman Empire, it kind of fractures. The Byzantines take the east. This would have been like, I think it's Leo or something like that. Maybe it's an Isaurian. But this is This coin right here features Christ. This would have been struck between about 1028 and 1034. This one would have been struck a few centuries earlier. This would have been struck right as they're starting. I think that ANA is going to mean Anastasius Decorus, who would have been 491 to 518 or so. And then here's like a Justinian, who's one of the better rulers in his 26th regnal year. I think he starts 527, so that would date this to about 553. A phallus coin, and you see Anno, the year, very Christian-focused rule. This one is a later type, the ISXS, so there's all different types. This is worth actually looking into, but this is a Class D anonymous phallus starting in around 1042, whereas this is the Class A, which was like, this type I think was like 1020 to 1028 or so, but you can see Christ's portrait. They're fighting a lot against the Muslims. They're actually not that strong in this time period, I wouldn't say. This is an aspirin trachea, which is like a cup-shaped coin. The cup is not as pronounced as I've seen some on here, but you can see, again, Christ's face, bust, nimbus, and then there's a lot of overstriking. I think that's a focus coin. This is the coolest one of the batch, though. A massive Justinian coin, just huge flan. NIK is the Nicomedia Mint, 12th regnal year. I'm pretty positive this would be real. Maybe I'll send it to Barry to have him take a look at it at NGC. Nice Christ phallus on the side. But I thought that was just like, that's a cool Byzantine lot, and it spans truly, somebody's collection, likely, that I'd purchased in auction. So very, very interesting coin. And let's see what else we have. Those look like some smaller. These are like smaller lots of, I guess maybe I'll open one of them and then, okay, I'll open the two that are left in front of me here. Let's see. First, well, we'll do a quick, what's it called? Like a survey of some of these later 4th century bronzes. So there's Constantine the Great. There's, I think that's Helena, who's also related to Constantine. That is, who is this? Constantinus. I think his son ruling as Caesar, minted in Sicily. Right there is, oh, that's interesting. Is this as Caesar? I'm not sure if that's a Gallus or not. There's a Licinius coin, but again, we're getting a mix here of just late 3rd and early 4th century bronzes. Many are pretty attractive, have nice eye appeal and that type of thing, which is great. And then, let's see. Right here we have 23, and I think I've sold some of them, but this could be the last one to take a look at. Different provincial and imperial minted coins. This is a Maxentius coin. He was a usurper who was trying to, he fought against Constantine in the early 300s. That's a nice Gordian III Cistercius. That one is a cool type. I'm not sure exactly who is on it, but the reverse is interesting. That might be like a modern coin. I'm not exactly sure, because it looks like Italian. There's another, a lot of later types here. That one could be Maxentius as well, given the reverse, which it is. That looks like a Domitian. And so this was just like a pretty inexpensively acquired. I think this might even be Agrippa here, mix of items. So yeah, very pleased with these. That one looks cool. I think that's a Marcus Aurelius. Shame about the little green specks encroaching. Similar situation here. I think that's an earlier, like a Claudius, who's a little bit tougher to find, from about 41 to 54. That's a gorgeous coin of Constantius, or Constantine the Great. Augustus, so 27 to 14, he consolidates power basically after all the issues with Caesar dying. There's Maximianus, 3 probably euros, or probably older than that, maybe 3 marks. Anyways, great little mix here, but this is the type of group that I'm like, okay, at this stage I have a lot of this sort of material in, so I may focus on buying some slightly more expensive stuff, but you know, you never know. Always trying to, you know, if I see something I'm excited about, try to just go for it, and I think that was definitely the case with this unboxing. Let me know what you thought. Loved these. Some obvious little disappointments there, like with this coin that I thought was, you know, an insane looking taller and ends up being a restrike. That kind of thing happens, but we'll see you guys soon, probably with some more unboxings as well as some general kind of market update stuff.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.